Now that we have talked about a perimeter and what it might be used for, we are going to look at some more examples where the drawings are simplified. While working on these rectangle questions, see if you can use a perimeter formula to represent parts of each exercise. So let's look at activity 1. Below represents the general shape of a couch from IKEA. You need to determine if it will fit in the back of your pickup truck. If you know the perimeter of the couch is 22 feet and the short side is 3 feet wide, will it fit in an 8-foot long truck bed? Explain your reasoning. So we know that the perimeter is 22 feet and we know that the short side is 3 feet. So this is 3 feet and this is 3 feet. So if the perimeter is 22 feet, if we subtract off 3 and 3, so 22 minus 3 is 16 feet. That means that this highlighted length and this highlighted length, the remaining is 16 feet split between those two. So if we took the 16 feet and divided it by 2, that would give us a remaining amount of 8 feet. So that means that this is 8 feet here, and this is 8 feet here as well. So these think about it questions ask, what is needed? So we need to figure out the length of the couch, which we found to be 8 feet. What was given? We were given the width of the couch and the perimeter of the couch. How did you use patterns and the shape to find an answer? Well, we knew that the perimeter of the couch was 22 feet, and we know that the short side was 3 feet. And so we used that and kind of the perimeter formula to figure out the length of the couch. And let's kind of see that rewritten in the formula sense. So we have the perimeter is equal to 2L plus 2W. And so we know the perimeter is equal to 22, and we know that the width is 3. So I'm going to replace those inside the variables. And if we simplify that, we get 22 is equal to 2L plus, well, 2 times 3 is 6. Now from here, what I want to do is I want to subtract both sides by 6. So I'm going to subtract 6 here and subtract 6 here. And if we do that, we get 16 is equal to 2 times L. And all that's saying is that 16 is equal to 2 times some number. And the way that we figure out that number is we do the opposite operation. So if we're multiplying 2 times L, then if we divide both sides by 2, then we end up getting 8 is equal to L. So that's how we figured out the length of the couch. So that answers this third question here. So ultimately, we're trying to answer, will the couch fit in the truck bed? Well, we know that the truck bed is 8 feet long. And so hopefully you've seen maybe on the freeway, sometimes people will have stuff on their truck bed that protrudes out a little bit. And they just use like ties or some kind of like mechanism to make sure that it doesn't fall off. So I would argue that it probably would fit. You just need to harness it in with something. And notice that the width is 3 feet, but I looked at like the average width of a truck bed, and the smallest one I found, they usually start at around 40 inches, which is bigger than 3 feet. So the couch should fit on the truck bed. Class Activity 2 says, here is another shape. This shape represents a room that needs to have wood floor treated. To do this, the company needs to be sure that they have enough tape to mask around the bottom of the wall. Using what you know so far, can you find its perimeter to determine the amount of painter's tape that is needed? So notice that this shape is not rectangular, and so the way that we're going to need to calculate the perimeter is a little bit different. Now, there's actually two ways that we could go about doing this. The first way is if we take all of the lengths and just add them up. So I'm highlighting the outside or the perimeter of this shape, which again is not a rectangle. So we want to add up all of those lengths. So let's do that step by step. So we have the perimeter is equal to, I'm going to take this length first, so we know that that's equal to 10 feet, plus we know that this side length is equal to 8 feet, and we know that this here is 2.5 feet. Notice that this here does not have a measurement and this here does not have a measurement. So I'm going to put plus question mark and plus question mark, and then the last one, this measurement here, we know that that's 16 feet. So those two question marks, how are we going to find those? Well, we know that this length, the bottom length, is 16 feet. And we know that this length here is 8 feet. So that means that if I added up this top length here plus this length here, they should add up to 16 feet. And so the number that accomplishes that for us, that's basically saying 8 plus what is equal to 16. And you could solve that by subtracting 8 on both sides. And we get that question mark is equal to 8. So that means that this here is 8 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this part here with 8 feet. And now we want to do something similar for this vertical piece here. So let me use a different color. I know that this vertical piece is 10 feet, and I know that this is 2.5 feet. So because this is the shape that it is, we know that this here is 2.5 from here to here, and whatever this length is from here to the bottom, whatever that is, it needs to add up to 10 with 2.5. So I could do 2.5 plus question mark is equal to 10, and I could figure this out by subtracting 2.5 to each side, and we'll get that question mark is equal to 7.5 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this question mark, and we know that this length here is 7 feet. And I'll go ahead and replace that here. Okay, so now that we have all of those values, we can go ahead and I'm going to throw that into my calculator. So we have 10 plus 8 plus 2.5 plus 8 plus 7 plus 16. So that is 51.5 feet. All right, so this last portion of our outline deals with reflection. And so these are just questions that I'm going to leave up to you to answer on your own time. But basically, this wraps up the idea of the perimeter of a rectangle.